Son talent n'a d'égal que sa discrétion. Annette Bening fait décidément figure d'exception à Hollywood. Un mariage qui dure depuis plus de 25 ans avec l'ancien bourreau des cœurs Warren Beatty, une carrière jamais vécue au détriment de son rôle de mère et un visage qui assume ses rides, l'héroïne des arnaqueurs et d'American Beauty est l'anti-star par excellence.
Hello, Sophie. Pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Dans 20th Century Woman de Mike Mills, elle incarne avec le naturel qui la caractérise une femme confrontée à la difficulté d'élever son enfant seule dans la Californie libertaire de la fin des années 70.
How do you be a good man? What does that even mean nowadays?
Don't you need a man to raise a man?
No, I don't think so. I think you're what's gonna work for him.
Annette, what do you remember from 1979, this time of contestation, of changes, this crisis of confidence? I know you grew up in California also.
Yeah, I mean, specifically in 1970, I had moved to San Francisco in 1978. I grew up in San Diego, so the milieu of the movie is very familiar to me. I mean, I can smell the smell of the beach and the feel of the sand and the people and how they looked and what they wore and that skirt that Elle Fanning is wearing. I mean, I had one of those tie-around denim skirts. So many things brought back memories to me, as well as the people and their sensibilities. I loved that time. I had moved to San Francisco to go to college in 1978, and that was a seminal moment there because that was when, unfortunately, we had this tragedy of Dan White killing Harvey Milk and George Moscone, which was really a turning point for the country and a turning point for the gay rights movement. AIDS hit after that, so it was a time of incredible change.
Yeah, Abby?
No, stop it. I'm menstruating.
Abby, you know what? You're menstruating, okay, but do you have to say it? Okay, and do we really need to know everything that's going on with you?
What? I'm menstruating. Why is that a big deal?
We don't need to hear about that, thank you.
If you ever want to have an adult relationship with a woman, like if you want to have sex with a woman's vagina, you need to be comfortable with the fact that the vagina menstruates. And just say menstruation. It's not a big deal. So start saying it now. Menstruation.
1979, I got involved in the theater and all of that. That was really my passion. And classical theater was what I loved. I loved the intellectual heft of it. I loved studying it. I loved performing it. I really wanted to be on the stage. So that was sort of how I pictured my life. I always knew I wanted children from when I was a very little girl. It was a strange little tiny thing when I wanted to be a mommy. So I don't know where that came from. I think part of it was I was the youngest and I wanted my mother to have more children.
Are you helping him? I'm trying.
Really?
What about you? Have you thought about your impact on him? It's always about the mother. Like, do you think you've moved on since his dad?
You know that you're not actually a therapist?
You're kind of an exception in Hollywood because you always gave priority to your family life. But I have the feeling that there was no price to pay as an actress because you had so many great parts. Do you feel there was a price anyway?
Maybe there was a price a few times. There were things I didn't do. There were adventures I would have had. Because part of making a film is an adventure. And it's a wonderful way to maintain adventure in your life. But I didn't want to leave my kids. So when they could come with me, we would go. You know, I also did plays. I would periodically do plays in Los Angeles. It's funny doing plays in LA. A lot of people don't even know that we do plays in LA, but we do. But as actors, we're really interpreters, right? So we only are as the possibilities that are there in the writing. Well, that was always my goal. Was to try to do as wide range as people as I could, and also people that reflected the age that I was really in.
Do you think you're happy? Like, as happy as you thought you'd be when you were my age?
Seriously? You don't ask people questions like that.
You're my mom.
Especially your mom. Look, wondering if you're happy, it's a great shortcut to just being depressed. Give me that.
What are the directors, the script writers that have impressed you in their way to write women character and kind of feminist directors?
Yeah,
If we can call them that way?
Yeah, sure. Well, Alan Ball wrote American Beauty, and that film ended up being a great movie, I think, but he had a great screenplay to begin with, and he really thought it through and wrote it from his heart. That's an example of a great character and a great piece of writing. I made a film called Being Julia, which was a Somerset Maugham story. His characters, his stories are phenomenal. The depth of his writing and the mystery and what he leaves out. And he was a physician and he tried to eliminate all adjectives and just write as cleanly as he could. So I think he's a great writer for women as well.
If a movie was made today about 21st century women after Donald Trump's election, what would it tell?
Well, right now we're just in the very, very first part of that story, and I
Yeah.
think what women are feeling is a lot of shock. I think all of us in the arts and television, movies, theater, we feel a new sense of urgency to tell stories which reflect our what's happening. I mean, I think that especially as Democrats, we want to understand what happened, the needs of the people that voted for Trump, and we also really need our Republican leadership to speak out against the policies that are un-American, that are against our Constitution, that are unethical, and just quite frankly, without compassion.
I have a last request. We have a little tradition is to let you have the last word of this interview.
Okay.
Maybe your favorite word.
Okay. I think I'm spelling it wrong, but I don't care. My favorite word is cacophony.